สวัสดีค่ะ I'm สดชื่นลิมเกรียงไกร and welcome to Be My Guest, the program that brings you successful stories of institutions and entrepreneurs in both international and domestic arena. Today we will be talking with representatives of a federation that organizes the leading exhibitions and conferences for the screen printing, digital printing and textile printing community. Let's hear more about it now. In today's episode, we are joined by Mrs. Roz Granari, Divisional Director of FESPA. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you for joining us today. First of all, let me ask you to introduce to us FESPA. Who is FESPA?
FESPA has been in existence for over 50 years. They formed in 1962 and the acronym FESPA stands for the Federation of European Screen Printing Associations.
I see. So I assume that your presence is much more well known in the European Union area.
It was when we first began, but now after 50 years the Federation has grown to have 37 national associations around the world. So the name of FESPA is very, very well known internationally.
I see. So what does FESPA do?
FESPA is that the mission statement is to become the leading globally connected imaging community, and the purpose is to inspire, and educate and reinvest its profits to grow the industry around the world through our associations and their networks.
I see. So how long have FESPA entered the Asia region?
So we first had Asian associations start to join us in around about 2000, and since then we have now got 9 ASEAN associations, so from Thailand through India, Australia, China, so we have Sri Lanka, so we have all of those associations, and they are all connected with our Europeans, with our American, South American and Asia. So the whole world is brought together through FESPA.
I see. So can you say that the Asian region is basically a newcomer for the Federation?
Reasonably new, however the links have always been there, and we first came with a show to Bangkok in 2008.
Okay. So you've been here before?
We have been here before. We have been here before, and then more recently we had a show in China, FESPA China. So we have been. So FESPA reinvest the profits that we make from the exhibitions, and all of our associations around the world can benefit from being a member of FESPA through many different ways.
I see. So let me ask you a little bit about your last exhibition here in 2008. How was it? What was the feedback?
So the feedback was very good. We had really good feedback because we ended up getting 63 countries attending FESPA.
Wow.
So when I refer to the international reputation, not only did we have local visitors from the Thai community, but we also had other ASEAN visitors, but visitors came from South America, from Italy, and even from Scandinavia.
Oh, wow.
Because they want to understand what's happening in the Asian community and the print markets and what technologies are available here and where the trends are. So they come to FESPA.
I would say it was a successful exhibition then.
It was a successful exhibition, and that's why we're back again in 2018.
Great. And so about FESPA in Thailand, why are FESPA interested in Thailand, or is there any particular reason why FESPA chose Thailand?
FESPA chose Thailand because it is the center of Asia, and we now know since we launched the show that Bangkok has become the world's most visited city. And I was listening to the news, and the APEC event is taking place at the moment, and Trump is talking about Bangkok being such a popular destination, and so it made sense for the connectivity, because there is a burgeoning market in Thailand from a print perspective, screen and graphic, industrial. There's an awful lot happening in Thailand.
I see. So What does FESPA do to contribute to Thailand? So basically, how would we benefit from having you here?
So how we hope that Thailand will benefit is that those that are in the print industry, those that are designing for print, so whether you're an architect, an interior designer, an industrial manufacturer, that you have requirements for printing within production, so printing on glass, for example, or printing for interiors. You can come to FESPA, you'll see international brands as well as local companies bringing the latest technology, and FESPA, through its reinvestment program, delivers free educational content, which is unusual for a lot of exhibitions. You have to pay for seminars, but that's part of our giving back to the community.
I see.
The opportunity to learn, have the education from world-renowned speakers who will be talking specifically about what's happening in Asia, but also giving an overview of what's happening globally, so that Asia stays connected.
I see. So does that mean that you don't have to pay extra for these, add-ons?
No, our exhibitions are free to enter, and the seminar content is also free, and we offer it in dual translation. So English and Thai.
Oh, English and Thai as well. Wow. Well, that would be useful for many people, because I don't think for this community in Thailand there is anything as big here to offer them as FESPA.
I don't think so, and that's our mission, is to be the #1 ASEAN exhibition. So whilst we are located in Thailand, this exhibition is for the whole of the ASEAN region.
So talking about printing and the technology about printing, as you know, right now the digital innovations are taking over, and many digital and printing is closing down, or let's say is getting smaller in size. So do you think it would have an impact?
So we have digital printing, but I think you're talking about digital technology. They go side by side. Everywhere that you see electronic signage, you will find printed communities as well. So billboards, there will still be printed billboards, there will still be print, and the innovations within print mean that there are more applications, and that's really what we like to talk about, is the way in which print can be used for things other than just printing onto paper. So the different substrates, whether it's printing onto glass, printing onto textile, whether it's in the fashion industry, there are other growing areas of print, not just within the sign and graphics community.
Not just the normal sign.
Not the things that you would expect. For example, flooring, wall coverings, all of these areas are absolutely growing, and we identify this through the research that we do and the trends that are coming up.
I see. But since it's such a wide range, like you've mentioned earlier, that it goes from fashion to wallpaper to everything, it seems like a wide area to cover. So for the exhibition, how do you, divide it or make it, in a way that's not so confusing for people who go there and get overwhelmed by so many options?
So it's really straightforward. What our exhibiting community are doing much more is explaining that you buy one piece of machinery and you can do many different things with it. It's the diversification, it's the ability to disrupt, whether you're blending digital print with screen print, which is now very common, so direct to garment or roll to roll. So for those manufacturing in the fashion industry, it's really straightforward to come to FESPA and find who you want to see, and also to learn about those specific areas and the opportunities to diversify.
I see. Well, then we take a quick break here, and when we come back we'll talk more.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the program. So now we've entered our second break. Let me ask you about the market trends in Asia.
So they're really interesting, and FESPA undertake independent research into the market. And we work closely with a company called Smithers Pyra, who specialise in research and consultancy and reports. And we also conduct our own FESPA survey, which is our print census, and we carry this out every 3 years. So the last survey took place in 2015. The next survey will be unveiled in May of 2018. So we started gathering our data in Bangkok last February.
Okay.
So it was a really important launch for the centre so that we would get a good understanding of what's happening, what our printers say is happening, plus what the economics look like from a bigger perspective, more strategic.
I see.
So what we understand and we know is that the value of the signage market is almost 43 billion in 2016, and that's expected to grow by almost 3% by 2022.
Okay.
When you think about it, the facts are that 50% of that market is within Asia. It tells you the significance of this region. Also, the growth in industrial print, which is where print is part of the production process, so not the finished product, but where you see print within glass, on glass, or dashboards, speedometers, electronic inks being used, thermo technology. This is massive in Asia because there is a big production base here. Car manufacture is big, and also glass is very big being manufactured here.
I see. Actually, we keep forgetting that, you know, these small things, you actually need a printing machine. It's not that very simple of like putting stickers or anything like that. Now it seems like the technology is there, and it seems more convenient as well.
Absolutely, much more convenient. Also, if we think about corrugated packaging, so boxes, shelf liners, promotional packaging, the growth of that in Asia is phenomenal as well. So there are many key areas, and that's why we're focusing for FESPA on 5 areas of growth.
Okay.
So the 5 areas are interiors, signage, industrial, corrugated, and textile.
I see.
Textile and corrugated are forecast to be the biggest growth areas.
I see. So this year, like in 2018, that you're going to have the exhibition, what do you expect the exhibitors will come from? Are they going to be international, or it's more like the local?
So we saw a phenomenal uptake from international companies being represented themselves here in Bangkok last year, and we already know because the rebooking has been very strong. Almost 60% of the exhibitors who came last year are already rebooked to come back next year.
Okay.
So we will see M&R again, and they had a phenomenal show because they were launching a hybrid technology. Screen printing has been very, very strong in the Asia region because t-shirt printing, various other things. But now what companies like M&R are doing is that they're adding digital capabilities to screen print so that you get the best, more dynamic processes, capabilities, and you'll see more of that coming next year.
I see. Sounds very exciting indeed. So you mentioned earlier as well that you just exhibited in China. So what is the difference? Like, I know that there's a large population and there's a lot of business in China as well. When compared to Thailand, is there any difference in the market?
Very much so. We see the China market as very much its own entity because the country is so vast and so many diverse industry sectors, region by region. So when we look at our exhibitions, we are very specific in that FESPA China was very much for the China community, whereas FESPA Asia here in Bangkok is for the whole region.
I see. So you also do FESPA for each country as well?
So we have FESPA shows around the world. We have FESPA in Europe, which is our flagship show. That takes place in May every year. And so that will run in Berlin in 2018. We have FESPA Mexico, which serves the South American market. We have FESPA Eurasia, which is in Istanbul, serving the crossover between East and West. And then we also have our show in Africa, so we have FESPA Africa, and we also then have FESPA in Brazil. So we have a number of different shows specifically because they serve the region or the country, dependent on their location.
So these countries are basically key locations to the region, basically.
Absolutely.
I see. So in terms of like the trends right now, what is the trends for the market at the moment?
So the trends for the market are that there is growth, and so where we see the applications becoming more diverse, printers, print service providers have the capability to do so much more and serve more communities than they currently do. So it's stepping outside of the traditional screen and graphics. It's stepping beyond there and understanding that they can now not only print the brochures for a company, but they can print the signage that they might use in store. They can also produce the packaging that may be used. They can produce the backdrop. They can print the logos onto fabric, which can then be used to make the furniture that is used within the environment, the office space, and wherever it might be. So we see as FESPA that our mission is really to help our print community exploit all of those opportunities. And as the technology continues to move, it gives them greater opportunity and better understanding of where they should focus. So your earlier question was around, with so much choice, what do they do? But that's how we try to help. We try to steer by saying, these are the key growth areas. So if you're going to focus on something new, you are pretty sure to move into this community because
you narrow it down.
Yeah, you narrow it down and you allow the opportunity to be presented, and then it's up to the individual how far they want to go.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier about printed textiles as well. So is that a major market in Asia?
Very much. Garment manufacture is most of the clothing that we wear is produced in Asia, and a lot of that is printed, whether it's printed onto the garment after it's made or whether the fabric is printed before it's produced.
I see.
So there are different ways in which the print technology and applications can be used in the fashion industry.
I see. So what about FESPA's view of the market?
So FESPA's view of the market is that we spotted these beginning to grow in our last census, and we're waiting with anticipation for May, when we can unveil how much was accurate in what we forecast and where we see things going now.
I see.
So we saw a lot of interest in new areas, but the opportunity to exploit those wasn't necessarily evident in 2015, but we'll see now whether they're taking them forward.
I see. Well, we take a quick break again here, and when we come back, we'll talk more.
Thank you.
Welcome back. So now we have entered our last break here. We already talked about the market trends and about FESPA itself. So let's talk about the exhibition now. So can you tell us what type of innovations should we expect at FESPA Asia 2018?
So it's early to talk about what people will actually see because our exhibitors like to keep their launches under wraps. But we know there will be new launches, and everything is around efficiency and helping printers become more efficient. So the software providers, the hardware, the print machines, the consumables, the substrates, the inks, expect to see new things that will help those who are in the print community get more from their machines, be able to run more efficiently and to be able to do more.
I see.
The content program, which we spoke about earlier, will be really important for those who want to gain the insight into what's happening in the Asia region and how they can exploit it further. They should come to the show.
I see. So there will be guest speakers as well as workshops?
Yes, we will be bringing guest speakers from the rest of the world, so that they are giving an overview of what's happening, not just within the Asia region, but globally, so that everybody in the exhibition has a full understanding of how the world is changing around print.
I see. So what type of exhibitors can we expect here?
So you'll see exhibitors who have both screen, digital and textile solutions. We recognise that the screen community is very strong still in Asia, so there will be exhibitors who will be demonstrating the latest equipment. And one of the things that's really important to say, not many shows around the world, the machines are actually running at FESPA, so you will see them in action. You'll be able to test their capabilities. You're able to speak. They bring their international teams, so wherever you're coming from, there will be somebody there who'll be able to speak your language, explain and understand your needs and help you to find solutions.
I see. That's interesting. So basically, if they just go to the exhibition, it's not just talking about the product, but you can actually experience the product as well.
Absolutely. You can touch it, you can hear the machines, you can look inside, understand the technology that's used, and find out more about the applications, which are the important thing. How can you use that equipment?
I see. So can you give us like a brief overview of the FESPA event? Maybe like in terms of, the exhibitors, are they mostly international that are joining this year, or they're more locals this year?
So we still are seeing the international community coming in force. And I would expect that we will have around 60%, 60 to 70% of our exhibitor community will be international. Those main brands who will come directly, the EFIs, the HPs, the Canons, those companies will be here in force, and they will be here to support not only their local distributors but the opportunities for the internationals who will also attend the exhibition.
I see. And is this normal to have this much international exhibitors in an exhibition?
No, you would expect that the majority of exhibitors would be local, but that's where FESPA is different. We bring the international community, we bring the international visitors, so anyone exhibiting who's looking to step outside of Thailand to reach a wider audience as well as to serve their local community, FESPA is the place to be.
I see. Sounds like a great opportunity. But do you think like Thailand has, a large room, let's say it's a big area, a huge gap for its market in the printing community? Does it have room to grow?
Absolutely. The biggest growth forecast is in Asia, in these key areas. Our research tells us that, far outstripping Europe and the rest of the world. So it's really up to Thailand to take advantage of those opportunities and use FESPA Asia to help drive print forward.
I see. So when is FESPA Asia 2018 happening?
It's taking place in February between the 22nd and the 24th at Bitech in the brand new hall 98. So we're very fortunate to be very closely connected with the SkyTrain for the international visitors. It's free to enter. And our exhibiting community are looking forward to meeting all of the visitors who would like to attend.
I see. And how big is FESPA Asia 2018?
So FESPA, you'll see here probably in excess of 120 exhibiting companies.
Okay.
So a big breadth of space. And we had feedback from a visitor who came from China last year to visit the show. And he had a driver, and he asked the driver, "Can you wait for me because I just need to see this show?" 6 hours later, his driver was still waiting, and he said, "I never expected to spend so much time." It shows how strong FESPA is.
Sounds like a very big exhibition right there, and I'm sure it's very interesting. You would spend quite some time at each booth learning about the product and everything. So in terms of visitors, what is your expectation this year?
So our visitor expectation is that we will exceed the numbers that we achieved last year. We were looking to achieve around the 6,000 visitor mark over 3 days of the show, but it's about the quality of those exhibitors, their decision makers, and whether they're an independent print service provider, a one-man shop printing t-shirts, or whether they're a big corrugated printer serving mass markets. FESPA is the place to be. Whether you're small or large, the opportunities are there, the educational content is there, but most of all the networking opportunities that FESPA brings. Meeting your peers, being able to understand their challenges, form new alliances, and opportunities will come out of FESPA, whether you're a visitor or an exhibitor.
I see. And is there any business matching services available here as well?
Yes, we work with TSEB, and we will be hosting a business match. So anyone looking to set up appointments or understand who they should see, they can contact us. We will help them through the content on the show website to find the companies who offer the services that they provide.
I see. And is it now still, open for people to register for the booth, or?
Yes, we still have space on the floor plan. It's limited now, but we still have booth space, so anyone interested to exhibit should definitely contact us. We have a team, Thai speaking, international team ready to answer any questions or queries about the show.
I see.
And visitors, please register to attend as well.
I see. And is it free of charge, or is there any costs for the visitors?
No charge to visit, so register in advance, because advance registration will give visitors insight into the research that we've done, so it's a good reason to pre-register.
I see. So when is the deadline, so in case our viewers are interested, so that they
can pre-register right up to before the show starts.
I see.
So we keep the website live, so they should register as soon as possible and start to understand how FESPA 2018 in Asia can help their business.
I see. That is great. So lastly, can you just, summarize FESPA Asia 2018 for us?
So FESPA Asia 2018 is the #1 ASEAN print show for screen, digital and textile printing. Expect to see new technology, new applications, networking opportunities, business matching, all in one hall at Bitech in February.
Sounds very exciting indeed.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you,
ขอบคุณค่ะ
Sarah. ขอบคุณค่ะ
FESPA Asia 2018 can definitely be considered the #1 print show in the ASEAN region. It creates a good opportunity for people in the region and beyond to share ideas, innovation and technology to enhance their capabilities. An absolutely important exhibition for screen printing, digital printing and textile printing community. And that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. See you again next time. สวัสดีค่ะ